Farming is a billion-dollar business in Indiana, and it puts thousands of Hoosiers to work.
Yeah, but what happens when a hog farm wants to move in right next door? What would you do? Our senior investigative reporter Bob Segal tonight says it's a growing conflict all across the state with high stakes and even higher emotions.
It ain't too bad out here.
Hubert Brumett has lived in Jackson County, Indiana for almost 70 years. Ever since he got back from World War II. And boy, does he have stories to tell about what he saw during the war.
Come to dive and he shot him down, the ball of fire flew.
This 93-year-old veteran is now facing another battle. Hubert is fighting to protect his home from who's about to move in next door. 4,000 hogs and a huge swine barn just like this one are planned for the farm field right behind Hubert's home. It's called a CAFO, a Concentrated Animal Feeding Operation. The proposed hog barn is longer than a football field and about 600 feet from Hubert's bedroom window.
They're trying to put it at the hog farm right in the back door. That's something else when they start trying to do that.
Hubert has chronic lung disease, which already makes it hard for him to breathe. The smell of hog manure, more than 1 million gallons of hog manure.
Ain't nobody likes to smell that.
His family says that would likely force Hubert to move out of the house where he's lived for almost 60 years and force him into a nursing home.
It tears my heart out. He wants to walk on his own land. He wants to sit in his own swing that he built himself. If the CAFO comes in, he can't sit out there. He fought for his country. He worked hard. He raised his children. Give him the dignity and end his life the way he wants to live his life to the end.
Hubert isn't the only one concerned. Hundreds of families live in this rural part of Jackson County, roughly an hour south of Indianapolis. In fact, within just about 1 mile of the planned CAFO, there are more than 100 homes.
It's a very quiet and friendly neighborhood, and all of these people have lived here for years.
Karen Walker's house, it sits directly downwind of the proposed hog farm.
500 feet from my property line back there. The wind blows from that direction right across my property. I'll not be able to use my pool, my hot tub, my outdoors.
Karen is now looking to move out. So far, not a single offer, and her home value has plummeted.
My appraised value went down $54,000 the day they decided that it was okay to give them a variance to put that in back there on my property line. I really don't want to cry.
It's an emotional issue that affects communities all across the state. Right now, there are more than 1,800 concentrated feeding operations in Indiana. And the state receives about 60 to 70 new applications each year, some of them inching closer and closer to more populated areas. Believe it or not, a huge hog barn like this can be built just 300 feet from an existing home. That's prompting some homeowners in Jackson County to fight back with lawsuits.
We need a place to live. 300 feet is definitely too close. When you're that close, you're basically living in the hog house.
But as homeowners try to protect their rights, farmers wonder what's happening to theirs.
We certainly are not ashamed of the project that we've proposed. It's perfectly legal and it's necessary.
This is the family that wants to build a new CAFO in Jackson County. Kyle and Leah Broshears have been around farms their whole life, raising animals when they were children, FFA members in their teens, and now parents who want to pass down the tradition.
Our fathers were both in it, and we hope someday these guys will be in it.
They point out there are already 9 other hog CAFOs operating in Jackson County with no complaints. One of them is just about a mile from theirs, and they say their hog barn will be state-of-the-art.
The manure will be in a pit under the floor. It will stay there behind inches and inches of concrete. There should be no manure leaving this building unless we specifically and purposely want it to leave this building.
The manure will be applied to nearby farm fields, and Kyle admits there will be an odor.
There will be smell. I mean, there's no technology to date that can eliminate the smell of manure from pigs.
But he's confident the hog farm will not pose a health threat to neighbors. In fact, he's so confident.
These guys, when they get old enough, and even Leah, will be in this barn, as will I, every single day, twice a day, for hours on end. The idea that we wouldn't be exposed to what they're being exposed to, there's no truth in that statement.
And the brochures say it's important to remember their hog farm is not being built in a big city. It's in an area zoned for agriculture.
This use fits that criteria perfectly.
That's kind of our question. If you can't put it here, where do you put it?
I'm not against farming at all. I'm against putting something of that magnitude with that impact into a neighborhood where there are 400 people going to be impacted by it.
It has nothing to do with farming. Dad, he was a farmer. He fought for our freedom. Where is his freedom and his choice? Why should he have to give that up?
The hog farm already has local approval. Next, it'll go to the state. But state regulators say they can only look at the project's impact on water quality, not the smell and not the potential loss of property values. So final approval there is likely. Neighbors say their only hope now may be the courts. The brochures tell me they'd rather meet with concerned neighbors outside of court to try and find a compromise. It's an economic issue and a quality of life issue that continues to play out in communities all across the state.